I'm pleased to welcome the new CEO of Capgemini Australia and New Zealand, Olaf Pietschner, to the desk. Olaf, thanks very much for your time this morning. Look, congratulations.
And thank you very much, James.
Second time round from what we were just discussing as far as being with Capgemini.
Yeah, I worked for Capgemini as a graduate coming out of university back in Europe more than 15 years ago, probably more than 20 years ago, to be honest. And I rejoined Capgemini about a year ago as the Chief Operating Officer in Australia, and I'm pleased to now lead the Australian-New Zealand operation.
And look, what's the plan? It was interesting looking at Capgemini a few weeks ago, and it was interesting to note the performance of the Asia-Pacific operations, the region, as far as the total earnings driver for Capgemini Global, an impressive one. Australia, New Zealand within that, and what the ambition is as far as you're concerned.
Yeah. As you quite rightly point out, James, our growth in our first quarter globally was just about 20%, in particular in our digital and cloud business. We're seeing that same growth in Asia-Pacific. In fact, Asia-Pacific is the largest or the fastest growing region for Capgemini globally. And similar to the rest of the world, our focus is on digital and cloud. So digital and cloud represents about 40% of our business, and that's primarily fueled by automation and artificial intelligence, by adoption of cloud in the enterprise, and by digital customer experience.
So just explain that. So is that a case of you working with clients, with customers, transitioning towards cloud-based and digitized-based sort of operations?
Yeah. So what's interesting, Australia is one of the countries with the fastest cloud adoption globally. Right. And a lot of companies see themselves in a hybrid cloud environment, so have cloud technologies and platform from multiple organizations. So what we see in particular in Australia is a lot of companies are looking at replatforming their old applications on Microsoft technology. They often build new customer solutions on AWS, so Amazon's cloud technology. And when you look at analytics and artificial intelligence, Google is the fastest growing player in this region. So clients often come to us and ask us to help them assess which cloud platform is the most appropriate for which workload. And then we often help them in the journey to move to the right cloud environment.
And is that an ongoing process beyond finding solutions? Is there ongoing business then with those clients? And I imagine it must be a competitive space, be it from similar size, if not bigger competitors, right up to small, almost startup style ventures.
You're absolutely right, James. So it's a very interesting space with a lot of new players, a lot of startups that drive innovation. But you also find the large international players, so the companies we're competing with on a global scale, like Accenture or the Deloittes of the world, in this space in Australia, but also very small specialised companies that specialise in particular technologies. It's usually one of the three providers that I mentioned, and what we offer is, I think, an independent view and then an ability to assess what's fit for purpose.
I imagine that puts an awful lot of emphasis on the talent that you're able to attract and maintain, be it through graduate programs and beyond. How critical and how competitive is that space as far as attracting the right talent's concerned?
It's a very competitive space in Australia, because I think talent and access to capability is one of the key issues I think we're facing as a nation. But I think Capgemini as a brand, being a global company with a head office in Paris and operating globally, has both an attraction to graduates here in Australia, but we also find a lot of our European colleagues don't mind a couple of years in Australia. So,
such as yourself.
Such as myself, and that was 22 years ago. So we actually are blessed with, I think, a fantastic group of graduates, and I was fortunate enough to spend a day with some of them last week in Melbourne, and this year we're taking on about 250 graduates, and they very quickly become an integral part of how we deliver innovation to our clients.
Olaf Pietschner. Unfortunately, I had to cut it short because of the Shadow Treasurer there, but appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
No worries.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll get you across all the latest broker moves. Rudy Philippek Van Dyke from FN Arena will join us.